Hey Collective, this is a channeled message and energy update regarding the Ascension symptoms of September 2020. So these could be slightly futuristic energies to you, or I feel like the likelihood is that many of you viewers are already noticing these energies. So I channeled this earlier today and I wrote it down and it was just really flowing. So I'm just going to go ahead and read you the channeled messages that I got. And if you would like more information about me and how I do my work and my channelings, you can go to my website, which is in the description box below, and that is whisperingwingshealings.com. So I'm just going to get right to it and start off with kind of an intense message. And I thought about kind of rearranging the way that this came out, but as I channeled the full message, it made sense why I should start just how the message came through. So something that you may notice right now are animal welfare issues or animal cruelty issues. So this is coming up for people externally. So it's probably not you or, in your household that you're noticing this. It's going to be something external to your everyday life and external to your space, but still affecting your space, I guess. So you might notice animal cruelty around you, possibly neighbors, or you might be noticing stray dogs and cats. So a lot of people are getting animals right now because of the quarantine and staying home from work, just like a lot of people are getting new pets, and that's not a bad thing. Like I said, this is just something that's coming up externally in the collective, that issues about possibly like not agreeing with how somebody else treats their animals could be a thing, and you might just be like, geez, I'm really just noticing just mistreatment towards animals. It's kind of in my face lately. And so you could also notice things like animals in distress from other situations, which could be animals fleeing natural disasters like fires, hurricanes, and floods. Currently where I live, there's fires everywhere, and in California there's a lot of fires, and there's been hurricanes hitting on the coast, and then I'm sure all across the world there's just with increased global warming and climate change, these things like natural disasters just keep happening just in really quick succession. So that could be also something you're noticing. If you're ending up noticing animals in distress, this could be another source for that. So and in general, I feel like for the collective of people on the ascension path are going to start noticing increases in connections with animals in general. So animal communication may be enhanced, or it may be more intense. So also, many of you, and this was starting in the beginning of the year, I would say really strongly. I mean, many of you are going to think that you have experienced animal signs before, and you have, but there are a lot of new people that are starting to ascend that are just noticing like spirit signs through animals just really clearly and intensely, and it's probably getting harder and harder to just pass that off as just like a coincidence or something natural. And it is natural, but I mean, spirit does speak through animals. So that's another thing that many of you are probably noticing, just increased signs and symbolism from animals, and probably in real life. But also, of course, always take note to what you are getting in the dream space too. And it would be really interesting if you are seeing, certain animals in your dreams and then seeing them also really seeming to communicate with you in your day-to-day awake life. So just something to think about. And so the reasoning that Spirit was giving behind this being an ascension symptom right now is that it's for some of us possibly a call to expand our consciousness beyond just like human cares and worries. So acknowledging sentient beings or acknowledging the consciousness outside of just humans. So probably many of you who resonate with the ascension path or the ascension journey, you know, will have cared about animals. But I just see this as, you know, when you're first starting ascension, or no, I mean when you're like well into it too, sometimes, you know, it's really easy to just focus on human consciousness because so much is there, right? So much to explore. But so maybe at times on the path we just have to be reminded that it's not always about like higher dimensional conscious or contact with angels, and all those things are great and they're wonderful and mystical, but also there are other things here that are actively in our 3D realm that may have consciousness and feelings, you know, beyond what we're normally programmed to think is possible. And so while people may be interested in like animal communication or pet psychics or things like that, you know, it's up to each individual, but probably inside, if everyone truly asks themselves, like, do I think that this animal can communicate with me much like a human could, you know, telepathically, it just really stretches the limits of what you think is possible in that animal's mind. So, you know, you expect that they have feelings and they don't want to feel pain, but could they really communicate with you about other things? Yeah, they can. And so a lot of us, you know, can have that contact with animals. And so I think that part of the purpose of this is just to expand your mind about what you know, what your mission here is. Like, is it going to have a lot to do with humans? Yes, probably. Is it going to have something to do with other living beings and healing the earth? Yes, probably. So we'll just move forward and see how this comes together. But so something else that a lot of you may be noticing, including myself, are throat chakra symptoms. That's a big one right now in September and moving into October. So particularly the lump in your throat feeling, like right before you're gonna cry, or, you know, you're like choking something back, like that real emotional throat feeling that you get sometimes, that's in particular gonna be like a direct symptom of this time. And so sensing this symptom this way shows your advancement, shows each one of our advancement in identifying stuck or blocked energy. So a lot of times when we begin on the journey, you know, we have to do like a lot of cleaning up of our energy or our auric field. And so you get better and better at like diagnosing, you know, what could be stuck in your body or in the etheric body, and just cleaning that up so that you are a healthy spiritual person. And that's like a really daunting task in the beginning. So I'm seeing this as coming up first and foremost, just as a reminder of how far each one of us has come on this journey, because before it may have been hard and overwhelming to even address like where this block is, like this block, you know, but right now I think I'm strongly sensing that people are right away going to be like, oh, what is this lump in my throat? And so when you feel this lump in your throat, think about what you were just thinking or doing prior to the symptom. Did it have to do with speaking your truth or being authentic in your beliefs and values? So that's probably going to be the case a lot of times when you do feel it. You may be talking with someone else and feel really compelled to say something that you feel aligned with, but for whatever reason, you may just feel like this pushing back and lump in your throat. So again, just shows how far you've come in identifying like, you know, lower vibrational energy kind of trying to stop your work. And I'm not saying that that's coming from like another person. You know, sometimes that just happens in our etheric body because you may be a light worker or a star seed, and each one of us was born into, you know, 3D matrix programming. So without going too deep in that rabbit hole, they're just, you know, there are just things that kind of try to tamp that down energetically, but it shouldn't really be like placed on any one individual, like sending shade your way or something. I mean, does that happen? Sure, but this is not probably really what that's talking about. So another thing that could be coming up for us right now is mid-back pain or back spasms. And so the cause of that is going to be because all of us are receiving some pretty intense and quick downloads from spirit and from above, because this timeline is really speeding up. Like, things are changing and people are really being called to work and called to action just much quickly than they were before, and people are waking up like at an extraordinary rate. So this pain and these spasms is like, because that information coming in, these downloads, is kind of like, feels like pressure, you know? So it starts coming in through the crown and then in your third eye, and then it's like pushing through your throat, right? Because a lot of us are feeling, you know, the remnants of this like 3D matrix in our throat chakra right now. And so as we work to open that and push through, it's going down and going to connect and anchor in our heart chakra. So those symptoms that you are feeling, you know, along your upper to mid back, is just that process happening. And so this is a really good sign. It's a signal that each of us is becoming closer to stepping into our soul's mission, because we're grounded in our heart, and that's where our true soul's mission is. So, you know, well, classically or just, I mean, it's hard not to think when you hear something about a blocked chakra or stuck energy, not to think of that in a negative sense. But I think that this is actually, Spirit is telling us this is like a blessing, that we are feeling this, because it's like literally showing the pathway of what's happening on our ascension within our body right now. So, and then I like had gone back to the animal welfare thing, and I said, this also gives us an opportunity to offer help to an animal without being judgmental or negative with the owner. So let's say that's your situation, right? There's somebody around you or around where you live that there's just an animal that you perceive to be in suffering. And so perhaps you're sensing this because this is an opportunity for you to really evaluate what you have to offer that animal, like why you're sensing this. Because normally when something is coming up from a higher vibration or from a higher guide, or you're being guided, you know, in a light way, then normally you can go within and start to assess, like, am I feeling this way because I have something to offer, something to help the person or the animal in this situation. So it's a chance for you to go within and see if there is something, a reason for you to be feeling this way, or is it just coming from a place of judgment? And so it's a chance to show unconditional love and compassion to a suffering being without letting ego affect this, causing an argument or hard feelings with whoever the owner of the animal is. So that's like a very difficult thing to do, but I mean, it can be done. I just talked to somebody earlier who, needed to help groom an animal, and the owner hadn't groomed the animal. And so she was able to, and this wasn't guidance that I gave, this is what this person chose to do, is to go and speak with the owner and just say, I can groom dogs, I groom my own dogs, would you like me to groom your dog? Like, I would love to do that for you. And probably a lot of us are thinking like, whoa, somebody might really take that the wrong way, like, oh, I can't take care of my dog, which could happen, but like, obviously, sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. And so, feeling like the person may get upset with you is possibly coming from a place of ego, and then being like, oh, how could this person do that? Like, should they even own dogs? Like, obviously on the other end, that's coming from judgment too. So it's an opportunity to like really closely assess what you're feeling and sensing, why you're feeling and sensing that, and like, is it for the highest good? Like, it really doesn't have anything to do with that person. It does, because they may have put the animal in that situation, but like what you're offering and your involvement in the situation, that's that has to do with you and the animal and your higher calling, I would say, at that point. So again, this is a video just about ascension symptoms, and to this point yet, I haven't really said, like, what Spirit's advice is. It's just, these are to confirm some things that we've all been feeling and sensing. And of course, like, everybody isn't going to resonate with this because this one's a little out there, but I think that a lot of people still will. So so if you're encountering this, I'm not saying that definitely the right thing to do is to go and, compassionately confront somebody about something they're doing. I'm just saying to contemplate those things, because if you are feeling really aligned right now, albeit like experiencing symptoms, but feeling aligned, well, then you probably are being called to a higher purpose. And so, just taking some investigating and seeing what that really is all about. So I also channeled that it's a powerful time to charge your crystals with music. This current time is really heavy with frequencies of all kinds that are influencing the atmosphere around us. But so a way to balance this, you can play high vibrational music for your crystals after rinsing them in running water. So you can just rinse them under the faucet in running cool water, just for like a few seconds so they're clean. And then you can set them like close to a speaker, or so like if you have like a sound bar or any kind of speaker, you can actually like set them on top of it. But you can also set them just in a room that's playing music. But like the closer you can get them to the source of the vibration, the better they're going to absorb that. So classical music is particularly powerful in hiring the vibration of your space right now, like your home, and elevates the space out of any external chaos frequencies, which is a thing that's out there right now. I am in America, and so there's like political ads and there's just like on social networking and forums and comments, and like there's just like a lot of arguing and going back and forth, and it's it's like these are all little frequencies that are being put out. And then if you have your TV on, just like on network TV in the background, there's like these political ads that might come on, and other stuff that comes on too, like that's just kind of well made to, manipulate you. Yeah, it's for information, but a lot of it's manipulative right now. So I've also noticed too, though, that the general, vibrational frequency that's coming through, there's a lot, but it's changed. The resonance has definitely changed in the last few weeks to become like somewhat chaotic. So, that's kind of a topic for a different day about where that comes from, but it doesn't really matter. It's out there, and so we are being told through this channeling how we can balance that out with something we can do at home and do pretty easily. So you can do this charging your crystals with music with any crystals you have. Clear quartz is really great for absorbing it, and that's easily and widely found, but you can use anything you have. And so finally, to close this channeling with, and I'll do some oracle cards real quick just to see what Spirit's advice for us is after this, if any, about moving forward. But so to close this section, I had channeled that notions of perfection are coming up in the collective. So if you're someone like me who puts out videos or content, or someone who's leading a movement or involved in organizing groups of people, a lesson could come up about perfectionism causing you not to act in the highest timeline. So, so sometimes, like if you're going to make a video, you might be like, oh, I really have to set it up. And before you know it, like 3 hours goes by, and then you might not be in the same place as when, like if it was something like this, where you were channeling something or were just really motivated. And like, that's kind of a trap of ego to just like let the time go by so much to try to control how you're going to be perceived in this thing that you're being guided to. I'm assuming, because you're watching a video like this, something that you're being guided to do by like a higher power, or something like that, so like when you feel that urge, it is good to prepare, and it's good to make sure you're in alignment. But when it comes, it's just like really easy to slip in though to feeling self-conscious and just like having to do more and more and more to set this up. And then by the time you finally get to the recording part or whatever you're doing, it's like you kind of just like want to get it over with. And so definitely right now we're all being called to learn how to enjoy the process, because even though we are shedding, like some 3D oppressive, matrixy type stuff, we're also supposed to be enjoying the journey. It's not like we're just going to shed it all at once and just like ascend to this higher plane. There is joy in this process, and sometimes it's hard to find it, but I kind of feel like, at least for me, that is something that I'm needing to work on right now. And I know that just with the astrology right now, that's coming into play for a lot of people. So now is prime time for spirit works in mysterious ways situations. So like seeming mistakes could be in the divine plan too. So like, let's say, just keep using the video thing for an example. It's like, you might say the wrong date or just say kind of the wrong word, but it still works when it comes out. And so you may be tempted to be like, I'm just going to re-record it, and you just keep going until you get it like how you feel it's perfect. But there could have been like reasons for those mistakes. So I'm not advising anyone to just, not try to put their best face forward and their best work. But like sometimes, especially if you're doing energetic or spiritual work or channeling or tarot or whatever it is that you do, sometimes those mistakes are like not really mistakes. Sometimes that's just Spirit's way of getting you to say the message the way that it's intended. And also, so while you may be caught up in like how to control how you're perceived, that might really connect and resonate with somebody in a way that, the saying the perfect thing and having the perfect video couldn't have done to bring that person to you, or you to that person. So yeah, I just wrote, so when we try too hard to control the way we come off or appear and take a lot of time avoiding being misrepresented by our actions, we could miss the chance to shine. Because, we don't know everything, and our job in this, from my view, our job in this ascension journey is to learn how we individually co-create with Spirit, or co-create with a higher power, or whatever you call it, So there's just a real balance of trust that has to go on there between you and Spirit. And sometimes like these perfect little mistakes have to happen, because that's just the way it works sometimes. So I'm gonna just pull the camera down here real quick, and we'll do some oracle cards. So I'm going to use this Secrets of the Mystic Grove, which I really like. It's like a really nice one for for your own readings, because sometimes you get to a point where you're just like all this stuff I just said, so at the end you might be like, please could you just tell me like how do I make this high vibrational, or how do I fix this, So it comes with these really nice affirmations in it. Yeah, so I highly suggest it. Oh, and I was going to show you too that since we talked about crystals and the throat chakra, this is an apatite stone here. And so anything blue is going to be helpful for your throat chakra at this time, but I really love this stone. It's a little less common to find in a store, but you can definitely find it online. And so anything blue will help with your throat chakra energy, but this one in particular also helps with not becoming distracted, with organization. So if you are like on a mission, you're on your soul mission, and you're really putting yourself out there and doing, big deal stuff, it can help with stuff like that. It can help with being more self-confident. So if you just look it up, apatite, it's an interesting list to read about things that it can help you with. If you just look up other things to help with your throat chakra, it's really likely that lapis lazuli would come up. So that's another one, and that's a really good one for like standing in your power. So if you don't have too much trouble with confidence or organization, but maybe have trouble with like people taking you seriously, this is a good one. And then I don't have a sodalite on the table, but that's another one that's really good for throat chakra, and it's really affordable and really found like in every gem shop for real cheap. So okay, so Spirit, is there anything else that you would like to tell the collective regarding this time in our ascension journey? Thank you. So we have a number 24, which says identity, recognition, self-awareness, and examine. So that's a really good one. I feel like that goes along well with what we were talking about. And this also has to do with like connecting with who you were in the past. I mean, you still are that person, but it's just like examining, well, like I said in the beginning, it's examining how far you've come. And so recognizing the things that got you there, possibly, you know, some said mistakes, and just how that's led you to where you are now. And there's this black rabbit here, and it talks also about the mystery of the journey. And then we also have number 29, which says winning, succeeding, victory, and outcome. So that's really awesome. And there's this flicker there, or woodpecker. I think it's a woodpecker. Anyway, and so I always think of the woodpeckers as a sign to follow your own drum, even though, you know, sometimes that's a little bit scary, or, you know, you might jump out of the gate right away with a channeling about animal cruelty, like, but that's what you're called to do. So I see that there is success, there's victory, and there's outcomes from doing that work. And then finally, we have number 37, and it says serenity, compassion, acceptance, and contentment. So I feel like that's really confirming too for us about these messages, that, you know, while we're in these two phases here, you know, definitely everybody looks like more somber, more serious, like, and so it's just like, it's like a quick time, fast time, and things are changing, and it, you know, you never know if it's going to get a good reception when you put your work out there. But each of us feels that Spirit is leading us on a path that does ultimately lead to success and victory in, you know, in spirit. I mean, Spirit's calling each one of us, you know, back to these principles, these like universal principles. So you believe that you are being called, and it's not like a big joke, basically. And so afterwards, when you put it out there, you know, I think that we both need to try to be serene about it and just surrender that energy then to Spirit about what's going to come from it, and not get too caught up in your head, because it's already out there. The hard part's over. But, you know, being an intuitive person yourself, like, you might feel these pings, you know, connected with this work that you've done. And so also that ultimately, though, being your authentic self is going to lead you to a place where you can be your most serene self. That is the way to this serenity. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And if I'm gonna probably, well, I don't know, I might write a blog with this, so check the description box below. It'll have a link to my website for sure, and I have other stuff on my blog, like free spiritual stuff and tips and like psychic development and mediumship development stuff. So you can check it out anyway and look down there, because I might have written a blog and have even more information than this on this channeling. And if you liked the video, if you could please give it a thumbs up, that will help it get to more people that need to hear this message. And subscribe so you can see more videos like this. And again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.